We seem to be inclined towards negativity. There seems to be an overload of negativity news these days. There's lots of doom and gloom. Coronavirus has created a lot of fear and panic, and people are now tired of the topic of the coronavirus. The economic situation and the prospects for the future doesn't look good. But what is important is that our outlook and attitude with which we view the world, that is integral, because that impacts on our happiness and it impacts on our overall well-being. When we look at a cup filled with water, we can either say it's half empty or we could say it's half full. For a Muslim, we should always look at it as being half full, because that is what our deen teaches us. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah Rabbul Izzah says, "Ana inda dhanni abdi bi." I am as my servant thinks of me, as my servant expects of me. That is how I will treat him. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, "Inna husna dhanni billahi min husni ibadatillah." Having optimistic thoughts about Allah is the best form of worship. The Messenger ﷺ was a beacon of hope for those around him. His ever-beaming smile would exude optimism. His words, whether warnings or good news, inspired positive actions. And we need to focus on the positive things we have going in our lives. Every one of us will find things that are positive in our lives. Being a Muslim, having good health, having a home to live in, a car to commute with, children or grandchildren in your lives, the different appliances in your kitchen or in your home, the different gadgets that you possess. There's just so much. What we need to do is make a list of all the positives in your life. Write it down. Write down all that you can think of. Tape it on the refrigerator or on your dressing table or your work desk or in your workshop where you can see it every day. Or keep a journal with all your positive experiences and document it. That's a great way to focus on the positive things you have in your life. Imagine your life without these things that you have. What would it be like if you didn't have a home, if you didn't have a spouse, if you didn't have a job? Envisage the thought of losing these things. That's a good way to make you value it and to make you feel good about it. In all my life, I found that people who are armchair critics, who are always cynical and have nothing good to say about anyone, they are generally not very happy people. And this is because they carry so much bitterness, resentment, and negativity with them. If you'd like to be happy within yourself, then you need to let go of negativity. You cannot have a positive life in a negative mind. And being positive doesn't mean that everything has suddenly become hunky-dory, that everything is well, that you're naive about what's happening around you, or that you're not aware about all the bad things that are happening around you and across the globe. Being positive is about choosing not to focus on that. It's all about the lens with which you view the world. A young couple moved into a neighborhood, and the next morning, while they were eating breakfast, the woman in the house looks at the neighbor who is hanging out her washing, and she comments and says that the laundry is not very clean. That lady doesn't know how to wash properly. Maybe there's a problem with her soap, and continues making disparaging remarks like that. The husband remains silent and remains quiet and doesn't say anything. And this continues for a while. Every time the neighbor comes out to do a washing, the lady of the house makes some sort of a comment. Then about a month later, the woman of the house is surprised that she sees nice clean washing on the line, and she says, "Look, she now has learned how to do her washing properly. I wonder who taught her." And at that point the husband says, "I got up early this morning and cleaned our windows." And that is it with life. What we see when watching others depends on the purity of our lens through which we are looking at the world. It's about how we choose to look at the world. With the current lockdown, we can choose to focus on all the negative aspects, whether there's a bigger agenda to this, and our rights are being curtailed, we'll never recover from this, and the list of negative things continue. Or we can choose to focus on the positive aspects that have come from this. Families have come together. They've had quality time with each other. I can certainly speak for myself that I've learned so much about my wife and kids during this lockdown, that we've been able to spend time doing things together around the home. We've had a great routine around Salah. I've been able to spend time with my kids and the Quran and madrasa work. I've been able to closely observe the growth and the development of the smaller ones. And due to my generally busy schedule and traveling for the radio, I wouldn't have been able to do this under normal circumstances. It's all about making the best of the situation and seeing the good in every situation. A positive mind with positive vibes will lead to a positive life. And even if you are inclined towards negativity, and that is become part of your disposition, then we need to remember that we can always unlearn things and we can retrain ourselves. Research has shown that we can actually rewire our brains and change our mindset. So really, you can be a more positive person, and that will really make you a more happier and optimistic person.